Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. I'm going to do a short little video here. I think it's going to be short, hopefully. About done with the Space Invaders, just going through, kind of cleaning up all the little bugs. And one of the bugs I've got is this switch doesn't work, this switch doesn't work, this switch doesn't work, this doesn't work, nope, 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 and nope. Everything else works. And you might think, well, that's probably just a row or column, and that's absolutely right. If I go on here to... Everybody sees my calendar. It's this column here is completely dead. So first thing I thought, well, it's probably a bad connector. So I just repinned this connector because this connector here is all the stuff in the playfield. That didn't fix it. Next thing I thought was probably a broken wire on the playfield because this is a new MPU. Then I was thinking, no, this is not new. I didn't buy this one. It's a modern one. It's an All-Tech, which they're definitely good. But it's possible that this has a problem with it. So what I'm going to do, I've got this test board. It mimics closing a switch on the playfield. So I can plug this in on this connector right here, press these buttons, and see if I can get basically this column to fire it. If I can, then that means for sure there's not a problem here. The problem is in this harness or in the play, more likely in the playfield. It's probably on the playfield, but this is just a quick thing to do if you've got one of these boards. And I think that this is a Weebly one. Yeah, it's like $40 or something. I don't know. It's pretty handy to have. So I'm gonna plug it in here real quick and try it out. So I've got this board plugged in here now, and the offending column is this one here, which is strobe 2. This board is really nicely labeled, so try all of them. Some of them may not be hooked up to anything that makes any sound, but anyway, strobe 2. This last column may not be hooked up to anything. May not be used for the game. We can look. Is that strobe 5? It didn't even show an ST5. So anyway, so for sure there's nothing wrong with the board. So now we got to dig into the playfield and find hopefully a broken wire. So generally speaking, the wires aren't just going to break in the middle of them. I mean, that happens very rarely, but it does happen occasionally. Most likely where it's soldered onto one of these switches is broken loose. So I'm gonna look at so all these 4, those 3 rollovers, and then this one here. So when I flip the playfield up, I'm gonna look at those locations. I'm bet about 80% chance I'm gonna find the problem on one of those. Okay, so here is, nope, that's the pop bumper. Where's I gotta back up here. There it is. Okay, there's that first stand up. And just give these wires a good yank. Ooh, that one. Look at that. It's attached, but only barely. It's like one strand. That would probably still work, but definitely, maybe not. That could have been it. So, geez, that's the first one I looked at. I'm gonna resolder that real quick and see if that fixes it. All right, I just booted it up. Start a game. So that wasn't it. I didn't think that was actually going to be it. Because there was one strand, but it needed to be fixed. Okay, that one. Oh, that's the pop bumpers, not the right one. These stand-ups. Just give it a good healthy tug on every one of these. And most of these have 2 wires because they're daisy chained. So that one, and that one. Huh? That was all of them. Geez, there's a big old glop of solder hanging there. Get rid of that. Well, guess I could figure out what the, which, I think it's, the blue and white is common for all these. So I guess I could get my logic probe and see if I've got strobing, or where I lose the strobing on my blue and white. Unfortunately, you can't look at the matrix, the switch matrix, and figure out the order. They're just on there kind of randomly on the switch matrix, so you can't say, okay, this is the first one, second, third, fourth on the playfield. The playfield order is different than the diagram, so you just kind of have to figure it out. So I'm gonna dig around a little bit. When I find it, I'll bring you back in. I think I found it, and it's totally my fault. Gloppy solder. You see that? So that's all shorted. So I'm gonna heat that up, get the solder sucker, yank it out of there, and see if that alleviates the problem. It might not be the problem, but it probably is. So when I said it might be the problem, it's definitely a problem. I just don't know if it's the problem. So anyway, I just cleaned that up, and I'm gonna start a game here. Okay, we're in a game. We'll see what we're doing now. So again, that was a problem. It wasn't the problem. If you think I staged that, I did not. I thought that was actually, I thought that was the problem. It was not the problem. So I have another problem. Okay, when I find something else, I'll bring you back. Okay, you can't fix stupid. I just was hooking up my logic probe because I was going to get serious at it, and I realized I'd never plugged back in my switch harness. So let me do that, and now it might work if I can find the button here. So maybe that gloppy solder fixed it. I just didn't have the switch matrix plugged in. Okay, there we go. Okay, that one's probably just a bad switch because all the rest of them are working. So, all right, so that's it. So you do have to have this plugged in to get your switches to work. So just to explain what I was gonna do, I couldn't see anything physically with my eyeballs. So I was gonna use my logic probe here. It's a good tool to have, and basically go through, I just got stuck that, but it takes 5 volts. So I was hooking it up with 5 volts right there. And the ground here, and I was going to probe the wires down here, see if I've got the probing or the strobing, and if I didn't, I'd know that part was dead, and I could like kind of work my way through and try to figure out where I've lost my signal, where it's grounded out, and potentially I'd have to break the circuit at some point, like look at half versus the other half, but didn't have to do that because it was just something stupid. I forgot to put that back on after I had taken it off to put in the little manual tester. So anyway, good to go. This thing's gonna be out on route hopefully probably next week. I'm pretty much done with it, so just got to do some play testing, and tough work, but I got to do it anyway. If you like the video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.